Why is nobody talking about Bob Weir's unique approach to soloing? Of course, with the Dead, Jerry was the go-to soloist, but Bob would occasionally take a stab at it. So let's give a listen to an example and then take a look at what's going on. So step one, we first need to know that we're playing Cassidy, and we're going to be specifically looking at the acoustic version from Reckoning, just to have a concrete example and kind of simplify things. And we need to know what the chord progression is. So he solos over this section that is the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus, and they kind of all blend together. It's almost like one long section. And it goes like this. It's E to A. 2 times for the verse, and then the pre-chorus goes E minor to A minor, so it switches chord qualities, and then the chorus is F sharp minor to A a couple times, and that's actually where Jerry kind of starts soloing. He kind of passes the baton over to him, and neither solo is really up front and center. That's what makes it a little bit unique and stuff. But those are the chords kind of in a very basic way. It's not how Bob actually plays them through the songs, and it's in the key of E. There is this D in there, and so it's kind of this mixed leading thing, but we're just going to simplify and say it's key E, right? Just an E to A, and then it goes to the parallel minor, switches to E minor for that part there. And that's something that I always think with the Beatles when I hear that, because they would do it all the time, and they would often do it the other way around. One of the best examples is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. It's in A minor, but then the chorus switches to A major, so the parallel major, and it makes for this bright, happy sound. So that's kind of what's going on there. But luckily, we don't need to get deep into the theory and understanding the key and the scales and that. As we see, he's playing a lot with chords. So what is he doing in that beginning section in the verse? We've got E to A, right? And if you change this to up here, right? Here's your E. If you know your cage shapes, this is the A shape, right? It's like an open A up here on the 7th fret. And then A in the E shape, right? Like this. So he's playing around here, but he's not playing the whole chord. He's just playing these right here, these top 3, and then plays this E in this shape here, but plays the top 3 there, and then to A, and plays these 3 right here. So you have this. So it's like 2, different chords are playing over, but he's got, on the first one, 2 different ways of playing it, so 3 in total. And then just add, a rhythm to it. Sometimes we play that open E as well. And what is that? But it's just playing triads. They're the basic building blocks of chords. Tri meaning 3, so it's a 3-note chord. So this right here is an E triad, and it's just as much an E as this big full open E, right? But for soloing, it works a lot better because it cuts through the mix. It's higher up, right? You've got just these 3. You can hear that cut through, and then he's adding a little movement by playing this other version here. So it's a triad here. Here's a different, what they call inversion of it, and then down resting to that A there. So he first off, step 1 is he uses triads. Step number 2, he is not just playing random triads, but he's very specific. So if we hear that verse part again, right? Right? What does that sound a little bit like? But it sounds like the melody of the tune. It's not it exactly. The melody's more like this. Right? So it's something similar to that, right? But you can still sort of hear it. So even though the top note is right here, it's a G sharp in the melody, he's got the B on top right here. It still sort of follows the kind of flow of the melody, those main kind of guide tones that are in that melody. And it's just he's playing it's a little bit higher up. It's almost like it's harmonized. So he's playing that vocal melody. It's something I talk about in videos about Jerry all the time. He's always playing the melody or playing around it or just touching upon pieces of it. So that's what Bob's doing here. He's doing it, but playing with chords, specifically triads. So step number 2 is to be playing around and focused on that vocal melody. If you're curious to explore Bob's style even further, the Bob Weir 5-Day Challenge is your next step. In the challenge, I'll help you uncover more of his approach while giving you the tools to make them your own. So just click the link down below to get started. So step number 3, he's not really just playing straight up chords, right? So if we look at the pre-chorus part, he switches to E minor, right? So this triad here becomes this. You just lower this note right here, which is the major third, to the minor third. So this to that, and then the A right here, that's the major third of A, gets lowered to here, and that becomes A minor. And if you play this one here, put it all together, sometimes you just play like this here, just there, or the whole thing, all 4. It doesn't have to be like we're just playing 3 notes the whole time. And then same thing with the A minor, you can play this top note here. So it's like playing this A minor here, playing the top 4, this E minor here, playing the top 4, or one of the 3 groups of 3. Doesn't really matter that much. But he didn't just play those. He plays this E minor, and then just kind of plays around like with this D right here. So kind of plays in, you know, these single notes or 2 notes at a time like that. So playing around the chord, and then here is sliding into it. Sliding like that, either the whole thing or just the top 3. These 3, doesn't really matter. But the idea is he would be playing with a little bit of single notes added in there and sliding around the chord. So step 3 is to add some single notes in there and also slide around the chord shapes. And you know, Bob's unique approach to soloing is something that you can add to your own playing if you're looking to solo in a less conventional way. But Bob didn't really solo all that often with the Dead. His best playing has to do with chords being used in a more supportive way. So check out this video here where we look at his unique approach to chords and how you can add it to your own playing right away.